See the enemy coming. The young man in white turned his head and glanced at him. You should act early. Young man of La Fresh quickly deployed Ra. Eclipse 6 carpet, but that just cut off the enemy's hat. In the end, let him escape. On the other side, the goblin from beginning to end hides on one side. Observe the situation. He's running at lightning speed in the woods right now. The 6 signs of the prophet Ra are true. Inside the devil painting, it's really the mark of evil. We must deliver this news quickly. Go back to 6 levels. But he just thought about it. Suddenly, there were 2 black lights in front of me. His body was smashed by this trick. The young man slowly came. While I was in the closet, I paid attention to you. Run for all the sun. Move the scene to the top. Tran Hong now went in front of the young Kier. Wait for him to collect his sword. Then he asked the pagan who was. It's not your job. Your mission has been completed. On a specific amount of merit. At the end of the season, someone will come to you. Tran Hung still wants to ask something, but the enemy stopped talking. The search for the lair of evil. It's not the responsibility of the bar. When I get back, I'll contact my supervisor. Information transmission about the emergence of paganism in the fold. For the celestial set, they'll send the magic masters. Follow this clue. After listening to Tran Hung, he nodded clearly. Meanwhile, the 10 right now. You've discovered the corn monster. And they're chasing it. The city next to me is a reminder. Don't subjectively goblins are contaminated by death gas. So it's going to be crazy and powerful. When you start attacking it, you'd better use gas to stop it. If you are not sure, you will get hurt. 10 good people see that he despises himself in this way. It's not fun. I know. If you can run for a while, the corn goblin is ahead. Suddenly stopped. 10 goodness saw it stop. It's hard to stop looking at it. Corn goblin to eyes glaring then. Immediately spinning in place. Very quickly, countless grains of corn springing from its body, hit towards 10 good. The capital saw that quickly raised a voice. Remember to come. 10 good people raised 2 hands in front of the screaming. You don't need to remind, even though corn kernels shoot with very strong force. But when you hit the 10-handed, it is also easy for you to catch. After a slice of corn fell to the ground, the corn kernels on the goblin are no longer there. 10 good looks at it. Relax, now it's my turn. The 2-eyed corn goblin is still big, and then we're spinning again. This time, there's more corn coming out than last time. 10 good people see that and open their mouths. At this time, the wind suddenly remembered the sound. I forgot about it a little bit. This corn goblin is contaminated. It seems to have extremely superior seed regeneration. If you don't use the power of the seed of hell, he will be tortured to death. That's right, there's one more thing. I just found out. Then raw goblin corn in the village. This station is not just one. 10 good people are startled when they hear it. Turn your head and look back. What did you say? Waiting for the wind. The corn dust around the 10 virtues immediately moved. And then there's 2 goblins in there. More corn. The 10 virtues were now surrounded by 3 corn goblins. They're the ones who look at you with the most evil eyes. The wind is closing in. Your hand is starting to seduce. Don't hesitate. Use the power of the seed of hell. If you want to escape them alive, there's only one way. On the algae side right now, the scribe of the mule has left. Only Turn HGG was left standing there. Looks like it's more serious than I thought. The reason for the refusal is that we have not yet prepared. The camp is gone. Chen Hong's eyes suddenly glanced to the side. I saw the bodies of monsters there. It's constantly coming up from the air. He quickly took the key or raw tree. The air from 4 to 8 directions converges. And very quickly, there was a flower growing on the tree's branches. I can't believe the amount of gas used to kill the devil. It can be replenished this way. It's a miracle, but also how to use this branch. I've got a rough idea. There's a flower on this tree. It's almost equivalent to all of our gas before. In the fight against rational, now there are 7 of them. On the next theory, we just need to pay attention to the gas balance. Maybe not to worry for a while. Because there's not enough gas to use the gas anymore. What about the birth and death of Falun Gong? The 6 teachings taught me. During metabolism from gas. This one seems to value quantity over quality. Later, if the reserve gas is replenished, it will also be more convenient. After all, this low-level corpse, there is no shortage of ghosts. There is this law. Seems to be actively absorbing from the gas, from the corpses around. This will accelerate the middle rot and weathering of the corpse. The noise is too loud. It's easy for others to see. You have to think about the reason for rejection later. Avoid attracting the attention of others. Look at these dead bodies. It doesn't seem to be heading my way. If I guess correctly, there's definitely a problem with this heart. After a moment, he went to pick up the heart. There's so much unraveling. When to go back and ask for 6 points on the mountain. Surely he'll know something. At the same time outside, forest, where the goblin was killed by the Kier cult. It's a blue sphere that's spinning around. Suddenly appeared. It's quickly swept up countless leaves. And then it turns into a covered man. The bridge inside. That thing just kept staring at Kier's body. After a while, it turns into a tornado again. On the body of the goblin. Then just fly up into the sky. Leave on the side of the cornfield. 10 good now. Are being chased by 3 corn goblins. Cho runs out of smoke. If you have one, you are capable of a few tricks. Yeah, 3 kids, you have absolutely no way to fight back. The capital next door is still tempting. Your heir is not much. Not using the power of the seed of hell. You'll really die. 10 angry people turn around and shout, hold your mouth. You just distracted one. A corn goblin chased to you. 10 goodness did not have time to react. It immediately spun around. This time because it's too close. There's not much air on you. So 10 good things can't be resisted. The role of the corn goblin. Beneath the deepest level of Hellbar. The young general and the bird's head were playing chess. Suddenly, someone came in the distance. The young man turned his head and looked. I see 10 good. Injury full of powerless people coming. I can't stand a few steps. Lying on the ground, the bird's head glanced at the 10 virtues lying on the ground. Here it is again, the young general replied. Maybe it's because the outside world is so violent. The bird's head asked. This time, the AI is here to let us go. Move the scene to the sun god of fishermen. The Kier tornado is now flying back here. 6 are sleeping inside. If you can feel it, open your eyes. He just stood up. The tornado flew in front of him. Kier's goblin body was knocked out by the tornado. It's amazing that 6 minus 6 stars are dead. Kier ball landed. He is the one who was taught by the pagan religion. There's a problem. Inside the body of the devil high skinny contains the mark of the external evil god. There are stars on the scene. Urge the operation of the laser bar. But he doesn't recognize the background of that thing. The next question is whether the martial artist we choose is the best. The orb can see he's getting stronger. His natural ability is very good. He can completely control the pair of pliers. And the branches of the world tree that you gave him. 6 nodding heads. That's good. No need to follow up later. The army will send high magic tricks of the celestial ministry. Let's investigate that pagan. Most of your eyes can see through your eyes. Wrestlers are focused on fighting. But you can't fool the monster of the celestial ministry. Move the scene to the cornfield. 10 good now, blood all over me. Lying unconscious in place, the woman standing there, watching you, sighed unbearably. I thought that. This boy has hope of getting there. Meet the unperturbed loser Kier. Go away and change someone else. When he finished, he turned around to leave. At this moment, a deadly gasp from the 10 good people. That's the heaven. The amazing city stopped and looked around. Only 10 people have now stood up again. 2 sighed, staring at the enemy without speaking. Not far away, a corn goblin saw 10 good things. I woke up extremely angry. It immediately spun again. Countless grains of corn flew to the incense 10 good hit. But 10 good people don't even look at it. Corn kernels flying next to you. It was stopped by a gas shield. The corn goblins are horrified to see that. Open your mouth. 10 good people then turn around and glance at them. Then you just disappear on the spot. He once again appeared in front of her. Corn goblins to big eyes cannot make a reaction. 10 good people have a good person through him. 2 corn goblins saw their friends being dealt with. Afraid to cry. Without hesitation, he turned his head and pulled the roots on his neck, and the 10 good people standing there with emotionless faces glanced at them. On hand, the monster's blood appeared the day before. Then you didn't hesitate. The blood flows towards them. The blood will aim directly at one of them and hit it. Very quickly chase the corn goblin behind. Don't give it a chance to resist. Cut him directly to the ground. 10 good things after dealing with this one. There's no chasing the rest of you. But slowly come up and wave your hands and collect the wheel. Waiting for the blood to return in your hands. You just turned your head and glanced at the capital above. He looked at the 10 good people in front of him. Of course, this kid's been in contact with that person for a long time. It's just that it's always hiding from me. When I saw him 40 years ago, I spoke up. We don't talk at the same time on the ground. The 10 virtues are now slowly waking up in a coma. He looked at the person in front and asked, this place is the head of the opposite bird. This is the land. 10 goodness, see the enemy shape. Then shoot yourself. The bird's head saw your attitude and was reassured. Don't get excited. You're safe now. 10 good people keep asking who you are. You can call me evil. Evil lie sao, strange name, I am 10 good. The 2 of them fell into silence. After a while, 10 people asked, do you know the white face? Do you use that stick? Looks like he's here too. I've seen him a few times before. Evil eye calmly replied, you said dance. He's going to help you deal with the danger outside. 10 hearing that, then a silent thought. Then they know each other. 10 good people asked again. How did you do that? Use my body, evil lie quickly explained. When you go to hell because of a serious injury, your body is in space. It will become an empty body. Can tolerate our spirit. Although only for a short time. But before your body reaches its limit, we can borrow your body if you can. To practice martial arts. 10 when he heard his explanation, he nodded. Raw is like that. Then you ask again. So do you know who the capital is? He always follows me. Above the ocean. Right now, 10 amber and rich people are staring at each other. After a while, 10 people laughed. I can't believe you're still alive. Style also laughed. God is not going to die. We'll just fall asleep. Or just exiled. The owner of this body is about to reach his limit. You can't let him go to Udo anymore. I know, I just want to get through it. To contact you at the deepest level of the Udo. That's dangerous. It has been contacted now. Then there's no need to spend any more energy on his body. The other leaders are Sao. If the Lord heard this question, fall into the deep. 10 good people saw that his attitude was a little surprising. So now we're the only ones left. That's the way it is, at least in this world. Turn the scene to hell. I heard 10 good things about the capital. The evil is a little deep. 40 good people see the opponent's expression and smile. I think this person knows it. The answer of evil. It gives you 7 hopes for him. You still shouldn't know. At least before you become a first-class fighter. It is not appropriate to ask 10 good people. Why is evil Lie replied? When you know the meaning of this name, you will not be able to escape, to appear in the eyes of those people. If not for your curiosity. That makes the people around caught up in the cycle of calamity. So let's capture that curiosity. 10 good listening to that sad sigh. I know. Looking at your body slowly disappearing, the evil Lie said. You have to go. 10 good people who have not realized their change. Difficult to ask at Sao. But when you look down at your body, I was scared to scream. Wait, what is this? You just left. It was time for the young general to return. I'm back, evil sharp eyes. Staring at him. How did you ask? The young man sat in his seat and said, Who sowed the seeds of hell on earth? Is the capital. When he heard this answer, the devil nodded. That's important news. At least we can confirm. Not all the kings are dead. We still have a chance to turn it all around. The young general also agreed. Maybe so, moved the scene to the ocean side. 10 kindness to wake up. Just opened my eyes. His body immediately crashed into his eyes. When he saw it, he shouted angrily. You tricked me into looking at you. You're wrong. We just missed some intelligence. I forgot to remind you. It doesn't count as cheating. Your mission is over. I will not force you to use the seed. It's like hell. 10 good people saw him reclining and were angry, only he shouted. Wait, we already know. Then your real purpose is them. Those are the people I met in hell. The city doesn't care. Whatever you think right. We have to leave the East for a while. If everything goes well. So, our friendship relationship. Maybe we can finish it next time we come back. Move the scene to another place. The young man in white right now. He came to the prophet. He is my father, the god of sight. The prophet saw him return. I asked why everything was. Keep your eyes open, it's all good. We fight in front of Du and Kier martial artists. To recover the mark of the evil god's return. There's something we can discover. Third force scouts on the scene. The prophet's face changed color. My hair is suddenly long. Completely turned into someone else said. It's normal. Native fairies. Ghosts outside the Ganmen gate. The false gods are not to be proud of. Informal forces. Waiting for opportunity in the dark. Not too much. Just them. There's no intention of dragging us into the water. It doesn't matter. Just ignore them. In the sound of crazy Kier, it's helping us to drain the power of the Big Bang. So we don't have to show up too early. At the same time on the fishing side, Tran Hung came here to find 6 levels. 6 looked at him, leading the way. What is wrong? Tran Hung immediately said. When we deal with the devil in the trash. Something strange happened to me. 6 hearing that, he was extremely surprised. Tran Hung quickly set out everything. There's someone in the dark raising high-level demons. They're using something strange. Can cause the demon to suddenly limit itself. It's placed inside the demons. The scrawny tall devil that we met at the top. That's how it is. That's how big it is. 6. When you hear it, speak up. This may not be feeding demons. It's using the demon as a container. To cover up the same fate of master magic. The same heaven is called Chung. Of the master masters. To perform calculations on large VI scales. After listening to him, I saw his attitude. 6. They asked why Tran Hung took out the heart. That's right. On the moon we saw the black hand behind us. He took back what he used to hold me back. It's very magical. It seems to have a scavenging property. It's this thing. He looked at the heart in his hands. After a while he spoke. This is the heart of the sea race. Tran Hung did not understand what it was. 6 ways to quickly explain. Sun High race, that's the common name of people. Born in a bizarre way. Carries within itself the veins of ancient monstrosities, the structure of their flesh and blood. For normal people who connect. This is the 10th total. Tran Hung asked again, including the corpse Sao. Right scum eat the flesh and blood of Sun High race in. They will break their own chains. From there, you can get wisdom. When Tran Hung heard it, he woke up. Fuck the bodies. He risked his life to win that heart. 6 reminders. You'd better use the old wooden box. Keep it carefully. Its fragrance will attract low-level monsters. And mid-level within 100 miles. Not careful. Your kidneys will be in trouble. Tran Hung nodded. Thanks for the reminder. To move the scene to the Demi government in Hebei. This old man is high in Vu. In front of him is his head. He was the one who had just recorded the mission of Tran Hung. The man behind the devil's curse. Confirmed as a close friend of the foreign god. That you discovered a few years ago. Related news. I've transferred it to the celestial ministry. Just nod your head like that. No need to overwork. Those outcasts just don't make it public. We don't need to investigate what they're doing. In front of the organization has fostered the. You have a higher priority, and when you hear it, you nod. That's clear, sir. On the side of a dilapidated old Chinese academy. The red shirts are gathered here. At first glance, there are a total of 8 people. You're in the deepest place right now. Take the lead to speak up. You've been there enough, I repeat. Target stages in the next 15 years of Sun. The first 3 years. You have to watch carefully. Statues of evil spirits in the area of its management. Don't let the martial artist hold on. Find them first and report them. Waiting for the right time. We will begin the ritual of welcoming the evil god. Consume the disaster-level power of the great. If 4 statues appear holes from 2 people or more, we will take action. A strong attack on the taboo headquarters of the opening. Go to Embark by tradition. The time has passed very quickly. It's been 2 years. Right now, she is being chased by a spider in the forest. She just ran, constantly watching the enemy's movements. Very quick love has opened his mouth, screaming, extremely ferocious. It's a horrible buzz sound coming out of its mouth. It makes 10 people distracted. The speed of escape also decreased. I saw that she was hit, and her speed dropped. Spiders don't miss the opportunity. Immediately spray out the spider hit. 10, you can't escape. They were caught by spiders using spider webs. The scared girl screamed. CASAO, you haven't shown up yet? The spider loved to hear her scream. The face suddenly changed. Right now behind it. I don't know where it came from. 2. The spider loves to sense something in the back. Turn your head and look. I didn't wait for him to react. 10 good has a guillotine. The spider's body was cut in half by this knife. A monster handler. And you're standing there, slamming your knife to the side. 10, they don't stop screaming. Come on, open up these spider webs. It makes me almost suffocate. 10 good to hear you cry. Laughing and running to. Right here. Sorry. After 10 good finished removing spider silk, release 10 Deem, Tran Hung. Also from the side. Good fight with C and B minus power. But you can beat a B-level love spider. That's not bad. Tran Hung applauded the two brothers. Immediately, the laughing part. Tran Hung looked at the two children smiling. This battle practice is here. It's time for us to go back. You two are happy to hear that. Very quickly, 3 people came back together. See them come back. Countless people say hello. Mr. Chen. Mr. Chen returned. And then an old lady selling sugar cookies. Stand up and ask 10 questions. Sub 10D. Are you going to kill ghosts with Master Chen today? She excitedly began to brag. Yes, today we killed a very large spider. It has to be this big. The old woman laughed and took a box of cookies and gave it to her. 10 years ago, I tried very hard. Let's taste the cinnamon cake you just made. She saw the cinnamon cake box. Then the eyes glowed and the drool kept flowing out. 3 people quickly returned to the hotel. Inside, there was a man dressed as a guard waiting for them. Tran Hung saw this person is extremely surprised. This person is the guard next to you. Of a million ladies in Liao City. 10 good people also realized that he was amazed to say. Was the day when the young man came to rub his head laughing. Haha, I haven't seen you in 2 years. 10 unpleasant responses. I haven't seen you in 2 years. You still like to rub my head like that. Tran Hung just came to ask. What's wrong? The young man took out a letter and gave it to him. This is the letter that my daughter wants to send you. Tran Hung quickly received the letter, opened read. The content in the letter is, Mr. Chen hasn't seen you in 2 years. Has your life been good lately? She didn't want to bother you so soon. But the martial artists we've hired keep missing. I really have no other way. Half a year ago, my father and my late father kept telling me dreams. Said that the evil fairy they invited refused to leave, just hanging around in the closet. It is because of this that my father and my brother died. Not to rest in peace, every night to suffer his torments. A poor woman cannot avenge her father. I can only ask you, please join the martial artist to defend Tai'an district. To investigate our ancestral home. Get rid of that evil fairy. This trust reduces the chances of doing it twice. Tran Hung finished reading the letter. Tell the guard to tell your lady. I'm going to Tai'an district for a trip. If we don't hear from you in half a month, let her go to the newspaper. People who hear that are excited. Then quickly go out and return to the city. Wait for him to leave before asking. Master Sao responded to them like that. Tran Hung looked at you smiling. Before we get to the East A, millions of people in Liao City gave Master a lot of land in Liacheng. To exchange, Master needs to lend a helping hand when they are in trouble. 3 times now, they need my help. Master can't refuse. People who can't speak without keeping their word. 10 good people want to say something, but Tran Hung interrupted again. Don't worry, Master has made a big breakthrough in the last 2 years. At present, there are rare competitors in this middle class. There are also simple thistles and dry branches. Even a first-class player can fight. But the danger that millions of families face in Tai'an district, no matter how unusual it is, you can't go beyond a plus. Master can definitely cope. If after 7 days, the master has not returned, you go to the village. Tell him to contact the disciples of the 5 demons. I can't hear you. 10 serious nods. The next day, Chen Heng was outside the bar. The host said something to the wind. Wait for the opponent to agree. He just started on his way to Thailand. 10 good people stood up quietly watching him go away. 10 in the room right now to call. It's hard to understand what she's called. Turn your head and look at her. 10 sad faces say, I don't know why. I feel like she hasn't finished yet. 10 goodness who smiled interrupted. Don't worry, Master is strong. Nothing's going on. She doesn't twist when she hears that. I almost nodded. 2 days later, Tran Heng went to Tai'an. It's hard to see the street around him. Why are there so few people like this? It's not. I remember 5 years ago this wasn't the case. Let's just go and do the main thing first. Tran Heng just walked on the road, without even noticing that there's a master watching him. This man is the master of the Southern Mountain sect. He was captured by the evil one. Very quickly, Tran Heng went outside the Million government. Look from the outside, the atmosphere of this house is not so obvious. Has it ever been dealt with? Think for a moment. He wants to go inside. I just went to the stairs. The 2 stone lions next to him turned their heads and glanced at him. Tran Heng can also sense their mobility. Glancing at the... Then quickly back off. Back off. The 2 stone lions. My eyes are red, and I'm standing in front of the gate. The evil god stared at Tran Heng. Tran Heng looked at them silently thinking, we have to deal with you first to get in. Then he quickly pulled out 2 slanting sticks behind him. Follow him to pull out. A stream of air came out of him. Tran Heng is about to jump up against them. Then suddenly it stopped. Sharp eyes looking to the side. At this time, the wind was unbearable. Appear in between the 2 sides. Then he glanced at the 2 stone lions. Addicted to humans or demons, it doesn't make any difference. It's a shame you didn't even come back to me. The 2 stone lions. When I heard him scream, my face was sad. Then my own part returned to the position. Wait until they are back in place. Tran Heng just pulled back simple. His cold eyes looked at the other. Ask, you are the AI martial arts capital of Tai and Fengtu district. Tran Heng immediately shook his hand to introduce the Tran Heng martial artist of Eastern Russia. Whispered in my head. I remember being the head of the Southern Mountain School. It seems to have such a name. The prince asked again. We haven't been notified here yet. There are fighters from elsewhere. Excuse me, this is... Chen Heng smiled. I accepted the commission of others. To their house in Tai'an district to get some stuff. A serious face in the next question. Million house in Tai'an district. They were all killed by the devil 2 years ago. Who is the person who commissioned you here to get the goods? Tran Heng still kept a smile on his face. Sorry, I can't reveal it. When I heard him answer, I fell into despair. Continue talking after a while. Not hiding anything from you. The house of this $1 million. It's become a ghost house. You guys are alone. I really don't recommend going in. The smile is not lost. Please don't worry, just get some stuff. It's probably not a big deal. We didn't stay overnight either. I see this father. As stubborn as that, his face dropped. See, you've decided to go into that house. At this point, the smile on his face was gone. Coldly replied, yes, but I was surprised. You don't want to let me in. You are doubting my identity, or the danger behind this haunted house. It was so high that a martial artist walked in there. It is also difficult to survive. You didn't report it for some reason. I'm afraid I'm dead in there. We'll make the warden come to investigate. Listen to the enemy for a moment. Then shout out in anger. That's enough. Show me your ID card. Tran hung without hesitation. Give a card to the opponent. He received the order of observation a moment later. Put it back in. Before leaving, he didn't forget to remind Chen. It's inside. Don't touch anything that shouldn't be touched. Some of you have been there before. They all say that someone needs to cover up. But they went in and they didn't come back. Chen Hung laughed and glanced at him. You don't have to worry about this. Then I didn't pay attention to him. Slowly come to the door of the city. If you hear that, the cold doesn't say anything. As soon as I got inside, I was amazed. This is the Japanese magic. Are you kidding? Only one house in this Taiyan district. It has something to do with the owner of this law. And it's been around for 200 years. Logically, it shouldn't be here. It was time for Chen to analyze the situation. Behind him, plants have grown at an extremely fast rate. And then, quickly assembled into the shape of a tree man. Throughout the entire process, Tran Hung still didn't realize the difference. Even as the tree man was slowly approaching him. He's still thinking, wait. There's an unknown point. Whiskers outside Kier, even if you do not know the law of heaven and earth. But the first apostolic school of the central government that year, he must have heard it too. The middle of Taithan Road. Anyway, those two kinds of magic. It's very similar. But the people who are able to arrange those things. At this point, Chen Xing felt what was behind him. Two eyes immediately large, but without waiting for him to react. The body was covered by the Kier tree man and died. This is grass magic. If he is caught, he must die without a doubt. I have to hurry up Tran Hung very quickly. Half of them were dragged to the ground. The poet is the prince. This magic is called martial arts. Clear signal. That's how you don't even listen. Then stay and serve evil students like me. A martial artist like you. I am qualified to serve my master. More than trash years ago. I thought Tran Hung drowned down and finished. But suddenly, there's a sound underneath. Torpedo of the neck. In front of the incredible eyes of the Lord. From below the ground, countless thunderballs come up. They don't stop flying around, and they attack them all, everything around. The wind does not directly support it. But back away. Below the ground, Tran Hung relies on Buffalo to sense the enemy's position. He's moving. The direction is from north to south 30 steps away. Step above the ground. After a while, I saw no movement. The old man's face sank down. It's impossible. Humans after being covered by domesticated plants. It's rare to be able to stay awake. Why is there even resistance? While he stood still and contemplated, the ground can also be touched. Stop 50 steps away from us and stop moving. I've just finished preparing and started. Then there's the buffalo on the ground. Suddenly disappeared in place. Next, go straight together. The wind that hit. He has sharp eyes looking at them. Wade France spherical SAO. Next, and then I say 5 crazy things. Turn the soil into mud. Follow him. The French mainland has a lot of mud. He then formed a shield in front of him. The VA bridge hits this mud screen. It's a little bit blocked.